Hello. All right, that worked. Just getting the other Windows machine started, and I can't believe that worked. That's pretty awesome. Didn't have to set up anything. And we're rolling. All right. Of course, I'm not going to be able to share this way. But I put, let's see. No, can't do that. And there's Blender. That works. Yay. This sucker going faster. It's not very fast. All right, and now we'll open up that. And this is going to be confusing. All right. So here's my setup. We got bumped out of our other room. We're normally next door. But all the computers are gone from our normal room. So we go away. So we, and by we I mean me, because everybody seems to have bailed this month, are next door, and the machines are all running. XFCE, which I was terrified was not going to work with Google Plus, but it worked perfectly right off the bat, which thank goodness for that. I don't know what kind of machines they are, but we'll see if they can run Blender. All right, so we'll open up Blender. Oh. Yeah, downloading downloading the Windows version is not going to be helpful. I just assumed it had. There we go. Okay, so we will show folder. Open up the tarball. What it's called? Can't connect to the internet. That's okay. Just need my password. Okay. Now. Oh, I see.
Much bigger than.
Hey! Yeah, well, have a peek next door.
Oh.
Make it a lot harder. Yeah, and all these machines are running XFCE.
Oh.
And I figured, I was like, oh God, I'm so screwed. It's never going to work with Google Plus. And it worked flawlessly.
Seriously?
Magically. Seriously, magically.
Works.
It just worked, which it did not next door. So, yeah.
My Linux experience is enough that I know XFCE is a word. No.
It's just the very, very lightweight. It's for like It's usually for older machines. It's a real lightweight desktop.
I had it on
Version?
one.
Did you?
I've played with Linux a little bit.
Did you?
back and
Okay.
forth, and so I had it on a Core M. So just like a
the
single
mobile.
core,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a 1.4 gigahertz, like
And did
single core.
And it ran okay?
It ran just fine.
Nice. Nice.
I ended up handing it off to my parents, just like, here, use this to surf the internet. You can't do anything with it.
Nice. I'm trying to figure out what these computers are running, but I don't know. It can't be much. Oh, here we go. All right, Windows 7. Oh, they're Core i7s.
Oh, they are?
Who knows how old they are?
Well, it's the Optiplex. It's the 9000 series, so they got to be at least.
I
I
wonder.
want to say that was
They
the
probably
2000s.
They probably don't have graphics cards, though, do they? They're probably just.
No, they got a graphics card.
It was better than next door then.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not better than next door, because looking at it, that looks like, because this isn't filled in with an air vent. I want to say it's a half height card, so it's probably like a NVS Quattro or something.
It's still better than next door, which is just integrated graphics.
Intel's doing better with their integrated. Actually.
Not with the ones that were in there. Like I tried to run
Those, like iSeries or
they're i7s, but I tried to run it was like a game engine program that I had, and it had like 15, 20,000 faces, and I had to run it this speed to get otherwise it was like a tenth of a frame per second. It was pretty sad.
where should I set up?
Anywhere you like.
That's a lot of.
Yeah, you got your choices. I was gonna try to use the projector, but I think it's attached to that thing over there.
All the way up in the front corner.
So yeah, so I got my tower hooked up to this one, and I got the hang out on this
I
one.
think I'm
So
just gonna head down here.
yeah.
Grab a seat over here.
Let me write down the password for you. I don't have this.
Well, I brought my laptop, so I'm just gonna.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
I decided I didn't want to haul my desktop around.
Yeah, I didn't either, but what do you do?
I actually just finished rebuilding my desktop. After 8
Did you?
After 8 long years, I retired my Core to.
That's what this is. This is a quad 8200,
Oh, 82.
and it's showing its age. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I had a Q66,
Okay.
the classic.
Nice. It's still going okay. I can't. I mean, at this point, I mean, I replaced. I upgraded the RAM. It's got like 8 gigs of RAM, and then I put
You
in.
can't put any more than 8 gig in.
And then I.
Is there a power strip under somewhere?
There should be one like behind you.
Oh, up in the back.
Yeah, they're like sneaking in the back. Here's one.
Oh, okay.
And then I replaced the graphics card, but if I gotta upgrade, I'm gonna do it properly, and I don't really have $800 right now. So.
Yeah, I upgraded to an i7, and then the other big thing. It's deep behind DisplayPort. I don't have either of those. I was gonna grab a monitor and plug it in.
Oh,
But I'll have.
yeah, it's just HDMI and DVI.
Yeah. Is this HDMI or is it DisplayPort? It looks like it's DisplayPort.
Really? I assumed it was HDMI.
No, it's DisplayPort.
But they have HDMI. Oh, you need the cord.
I need the
cord. Yeah, they probably none of them have a cord. That's too bad.
That's fine.
No, they didn't even have an HDMI next door. All right, now let's see if these things can run Windows. Where did I put it? Stupid XCFE. XFCE, X something.
XF?
I think it's XFC.
Well, I get mixed up because there's XFCE and then there's what is it called? Like XFIC is the data that comes up. It's the metadata when you take an image. Like,
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, the X. Yeah.
You got XF
Yeah.
data and XFC.
Yeah.
So I'll be talking, and they're like, oh yeah, you just need to fix some XF data. And they're just like, why are you rebuilding an operating system? No, it's
Not
just,
that.
it's just an image.
And then there's the webcomic XCFE,
Or XKCD.
XKCD. Not to, see, that's how confused they Alright.
I'm just U of M guest for Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, it's awful. Just be warned.
Okay, but it's a connection.
It's brutally slow, but yes, it does function acceptably.
I should really check to see if I still have my U of M student account somewhere hanging
Oh.
out in the background. I haven't been a student for 5 years now.
Might still work. Do you remember your password?
No.
There you go. All right, where is? Open up Blender. Well, what I'm hoping is that when they're going to redo the computers, the operator said they pulled them out to
Place.
hopefully I assume if they're doing software stuff, they would just leave it in place and do it remotely or there. They wouldn't like pull the computers to do software stuff. So they must be upgrading but they took out the monitors too. Why would you
It
replace?
might be everything. I got.
Man, because those monitors were like,
They were nice.
they were great.
Because these are what 24 inches. It looks like.
Yeah, and they're fine, but those things were like,
These are okay. Those ones over there. Those are the U series. Are you familiar with Dell hardware
No.
monitors? So these are the new U series, I think.
okay.
So the U series, it's the panel. It's a really nice. This is an IPS panel
Okay.
with a decent refresh rate. I was really upset in our lab. We had at school 24-inch of the U's like that. So those were 28 inches, 30 inches.
30 inches.
We had the slightly smaller ones in the lab. IT came in, they're like, okay, contract with Dell, we need to upgrade this lab. So we're pushing in, they didn't push in i7s, they pushed in like the Xeon version of the i7s.
Oh, really?
So I was happy with that.
Okay,
And
sure,
so, like,
Xeon, right?
yeah, let's push in Xeons
Why
for
not?
everything. So they pushed all that in. I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that. But then,
Hey, Tara. How's it going?
Okay. Sorry, what?
Oh, no worries.
That's
We're
fine.
we're just getting set up here, getting used to our new temporary home. So I'm sorry, you're saying.
they upgraded to Xeons, but they're like, part of the contract with Dell is we need to rotate all the monitors out. And because they decided to go with Xeons, they dropped us down to like the economy class monitors. And so they're like the cheapest plastic you can get, and like the quality in the panels,
Hurts to
they're
look
like
at.
right above TN panels. And I'm just like, this isn't an upgrade, guys. You can't do that. And then on the flip side, I talked to some guy at IT. He's like, wait a week and then go on the website. They're selling them for $15 a piece, and they're $300 monitors. And so I went on and I got a 24-inch the U series Dell monitor.
Nice.
And so it's got like all the inputs, because I mean you have like HDMI or like DisplayPort, DVI. I think it has, like,
Nice.
It says it's 16. Oh, it's number 16. Oh, it is.
All right, let's see here. So, and then screen share, Blender. All right, I'm not sure how I'm going to work this, since I have this one and this one, and this one doesn't have internet here, and it doesn't. I don't have a Wi-Fi in this one, so I can't. So I can't like join in and screen share, which is kind of shitty.
Oh, I didn't grab my save files. That would have been nice.
I could go really crappy and put the camera behind me.
Yeah. Could you?
Yes, I could. I don't want to make it too complicated. Really, I don't know if I have a Wi-Fi card. I might have one. I should have popped it in from an old computer. I need to dust this booger. Just get it dusty. Oh, the graphics card in there is dusty.
What do you have for graphics card?
650 Ti.
650. What is that?
That's my price point. Was like, it's like a decent one. It was like 140, 150 bucks.
I think
It can run many things, but then I wanted to get The Witcher 3.
That's not happening.
No, it wasn't the graphics card fault. It was the processor.
Oh, they
Processor's
only
too
have a
old.
770. The 260.
Yeah.
I thought they had some other ones on like Return or OpenBox, because everyone's going up, upgrading now.
Right.
And there's a bunch of. Oh no, that was it. EVGA's B stock page. They have.
E-stock.
Yeah, so it's they have Are you familiar with EVJ's Step Up program?
No.
So Step Up is within 90 days of you purchasing an EVJ card. If another one comes out or just anything happens, you want to upgrade your card,
Okay.
you can return the card to them, and the entire purchase price that you paid like will go towards a new card.
Okay.
So I mean, you can
That's
pay
kinda cool.
$400 for
Uh-huh.
a GTX like 980. No, that's 600. But then if the 980 Ti comes
Right.
out within 3 months, you can
just
send the 980 back.
Pay
to
the
them.
extra and they'll send you the new one.
Yeah. So even if it's just like $20 more,
It's a pretty good deal.
but so all of the return ones come back in here, and they have
that's it.
570s for $80.
Nice.
I'm like, that's not a bad card.
That's not.
But now, where is it? Oh, they have the 750 Ti for 100,
Wow.
which is, it was like 125 a year ago, so it's $25 off. It's about the same price point. About a 960 for 160. 960 looks like a really nice card right now.
Yeah.
I've been talking to some friends, they're doing builds.
Cool.
And they're looking at that.
Someday. Someday. All right. What should we do here? Let's see. You know what? This is going to be a lot easier just on mine. So we'll do this. We will stop screen sharing. Oh, it's making everybody nauseous now. So done. Oh yeah.
This is going to be
Not really. And my children broke my freaking tripod. Children. All right. Let's see here. Oh, I see. You can't see through my head, can you? Let's take this.
Just turn off reverse faces.
What's that?
Just turn off display reverse faces.
It magically fixes everything. All right, there we go. Oh, except it's reversed. Wheel. All right. So do you use it much? Do you use Unreal? What are you doing with Unreal? Nice pickaxe. What do you pickaxe?
It's still.
Yeah, the controls in the object window are freaking annoying.
Did it not import the texture correctly? Yeah, of course I do. For some reason, it didn't link the actual textures.
Sorry.
Base color. No, it's going to take a second to load the base color.
So you're working on anything particular? Or just moving
yeah.
assets?
I'm working on AK.
Yeah? Is it top secret or can you tell us about it?
It's. Are you familiar with Rust?
Yeah.
It's a Rust clone set in like the 1400s.
Where?
So like Europe.
Okay.
So basically, it's Middle Ages Rust.
Okay.
So you got a bunch of like basically the technology from that era.
Okay.
Basically playing Rust.
Cool.
And then it's also about building kind of like mini cities and stuff out. So you play on a server, but then as your server grows, it establishes like its place in the world
Wow.
with your players around it in the community, and then reaches out. And so then you have warring tribes slowly that build up. I mean, this is just all planned. It's early development. right
Cool.
now.
Are you working on this by yourself?
No.
Okay.
About 10 guys.
Really?
15 guys.
How did you get that set up? It's online or people knew or?
I think it was like Polycount. There's a couple guys on there talking, and then ended up Skyping with them, and then
Cool.
started working on stuff.
So what aspect are you working on? Modeling, texturing, whatever,
Just
everything, assets.
All the 3D stuff.
Okay. Cool.
It was actually imported correctly. I don't know.
And so you're going from Blender then?
Yep.
So what's your material setup like then? Are you using instancing
Or
your materials? Because I haven't quite wrapped my head around that yet. Yeah, so you set up like a master material, and here, let's see. Let's see if I can get a thing up on instancing here. UE4 material instances.
because I'm familiar with like geometry.
So what it does, there are certain things that have to stay the same across the material, right? So where's an example of it actually? That's a lousy example. So you set up like an instance, you set up a kind of your base material. This is like a very, very crude version of it. But and then there are some parameters that you can't change between those. Like you have it's kind of like your like a master material almost. And there are some aspects you can change, but there's some parameters you can't. And so I'm trying to see where they had a good little example here. So like this. So here's material instancing. And so what you're able, so I believe what happens is these parameters here stay the same. Here, let me see. Let me screen share this. So yeah, so your materials, so these parameters stay the same, and then you can go in and you can change a ton of other stuff, and apparently it saves a ton of memory.
Oh, because then it's not rebuilding the shader.
Exactly,
It's just
exactly. But then you can't. But I think so all your metallics have to be metallic. So you can't have so all your instance metallics will be under the same one, and then it might be the roughness has to stay. I don't know. Maybe the roughness can change. I haven't got into it too much. I was kind of hoping you knew what I was talking about. But
no, I'm just building solo assets. We're not optimizing with instancing or anything like that yet.
It sounds pretty cool because it sounds like it would make things a whole lot simpler too, because then you're just going in and you're changing your diffuse, your norm, your specular.
Yeah, we're using PBR, so we don't use norm spec diffuse. We use albedo, AO, norm, gloss, metallic.
Right. Yeah, I know.
So it's like the two extras get added on the gloss and metallic, and then it flips diffuse to albedo.
So what's the difference between albedo and diffuse?
Diffuse.
This is something I don't understand because I have some materials that were put together in Substance Designer.
Yep.
But they have to be then converted over for this version of PBR in Unreal.
So when you export out of Substance, because you can really name anything you want, you could export out your albedo and call it diffuse, or diffuse and call it an albedo. Okay. So really, all that's different about an albedo is that below 75% darkness, you just can't use. It will error out a value there or something.
Why? Okay.
Reasons.
Math.
But that's as much.
Just say math.
That's as much as I know. It's like it causes errors with something, so it messes up the material if you use darkness values below that, and also you're supposed to take any sort of surface variations of darkness based on so normally how you'd bake AO into a diffuse.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that at all.
Okay.
That is what the AO texture is for.
Right.
So if you want to include details like that, put it on the AO channel,
Interesting. Okay.
and then
Now, is that so the engine itself can bake the light map for you? Otherwise, then you'd have double AO essentially. If you're baking your own AO maps, and then you have Unreal doing your AO for you too.
well, so there's
Doesn't it include that in the light maps?
so in the light maps, it bakes the way light reacts in there, but
Right.
that's why it's important to have the AO separate because it will take that into account
Oh,
when
okay.
it does its AO.
Oh,
Is
okay.
it will use that as a sample,
Okay.
and then we'll also like work with that.
Okay.
Versus if you bake that into your diffuse and just used it in
It
your
can't
diffuse channel,
Do anything about it.
it doesn't know where those luminance variations
Okay.
play into things.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've. I remember I've layered AO over diffuse before, but I don't think I've done that.
So if you do it on like a diffuse map, all you get is you get the color. That's
Uh-huh.
a little bit different. And then what you're doing is then you need to go over to your normal map and make sure that your normals, like in those areas, make sure those are reading right. And then your specular and
Right.
is it just specular? That's it. Yeah. Then you're going into your specular, making sure that in those areas where like maybe if you had like dirt in the corners, then you need to make sure that like that's not shiny.
Right.
When you do have like metallic and roughness, the AO actually will hop on top of that and take out those areas and not
Huh.
have them like be shiny.
Huh.
So, but then it will also read in that in such a way that if there's enough light in a scene around it, that it will be shiny.
Can be shiny. Okay.
Yeah. So then it
The
plays
light's
off the light of
coming out
the
the
scene, and
Huh.
there's less that you need to worry about then,
All right. Cool.
which can be great. Did it actually import?
Well,
Oh, I can actually walk around it with motion blur. It's a rather large pickaxe.
that is a large pickaxe.
It's scaled different. It looks really nice. It's 2K textures on the whole thing. So
Even on the pickaxe?
the pickaxe is
Yeah.
2K. Yeah. Next gen, yo.
8K for everything else.
I do have a couple 4K textures.
Do you?
For some of the other assets. I think I'm actually going to 8K for the demo. Wasted space around the edges. Like I know there will be at least 15% of the texture space that's probably not even going to be usable.
Okay.
Because
See, when I think of Rust, I don't think of really high quality textures. So.
well, it's Unreal, so you have to like turn those things.
They don't let you use it anymore if you don't make your materials change. All right. Well, then I'm kind of curious to see your workflow to see what you, or to see your setup in Blender.
Yeah, I just installed 7.5 this morning because I usually use my desktop.
7.5a, right?
Yes.
Are you online?
Yeah.
Would you do me a favor? Would you log into the Google Plus and the screen share?
I saw it. That's nice. Thanks for letting me know. Blender, not Blender.
I swing by the restroom.
What's that?
I'm gonna swing by the restroom.
Huh. We'll be here.
Okay.
There you go. Oh no. So, why isn't it up? That's.
Is it on there?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. No, it's a Hangout. It's a Hangout on air, which should still be on the front page. I don't know why it. I mean, it should be like the first post. Huh. Let me see. It says there's one viewer, but I don't know if that's me. Well, that's annoying.
Can you just add me?
Yes. Yes. Oh, can I? Can I? That's a great question. Can I add someone? Oh, yeah, I can invite people.
Wait, I need to make sure my user preferences are actually set up.
There you go. You've been invited.
Okay, there we go. Let's accept that thing. Okay. Turn on that.
Hey. All right.
Okay. Is it actually screen sharing?
Yes. Yeah, I can see it over here.
Okay. I haven't set up my user preferences after installing the new one.
Oh, but you should just be able to.
I should be able to.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Gives you the option of. No, I think they do it fresh.
No options.
Loop.
So usually I have loop tools and F2 turned on.
Yep.
Just because.
Oh, it's not screen sharing; it's showing your face.
Oh, went back again.
Yeah,
Oh,
whoa, that's awesome.
okay. Let's do that. So
That works.
general process for me, asset creation at least. Let's just go. What do we want to build?
A cube.
Some sort of cube.
Penguin. A penguin pickaxe. I don't know. Something that's not too crazy.
Okay.
Obviously, since monkey head.
Okay. All right, let's go. What's fun? I had on the list. How about a little axe?
Relax.
Little hatchet. So usually I like starting off with just a single subdiv on, just so I kind of get the shape of it, because I'm going to be doing, I go like kind of low poly, building something out. So I'll just kind of go get kind of the shape that I want to. It's okay. And then I'm going to add in some loops just when I go into sculpting. I want to make sure I have decent resolution around the mesh. So that, and then I'm going to go up to the top for the axe head. So the face usually end up just sticking in vertice mode all the time. So
Oh, you're muted too, would you?
do we have mic on there?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because I didn't want
That's
two mics on, because that can,
Oh, yeah, it's on. Never mind.
yeah,
I know you're in.
that can really.
Yeah, that would be annoying.
I've been in Hangouts. Those aren't fun. So. So it looks like a.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
He should have been here for speed modeling. That was pretty good.
So,
I was terrible at it. I was just awful at it. Speed is not my forte. In modeling, obviously.
So it's starting to look like a decent X. And so the resolution on the top here, I'm just going to add one more just to make sure resolution looks fine throughout. And, okay. So then what I usually do is Shift-E and hide it just so that there is a copy over here. The second one. I'm not going to be naming assets just because I don't feel like it.
That's fine.
I'll apply and then this is what I'm going to start sculpting on. So then I'm just going to drop each piece of it out and then I'll hide this one as well. I'll bring it back later. So then I'll go in here and then just multi-res the mesh, subdivide a few times. Let's hit sculpting up. So usually I like start with a little, maybe the brush is a little bit big there, but just start doing some, start giving it some actual character to it. So that's okay. Okay. Subdivide again. This is going to be a really long piece of wood.
Yeah, well used that.
So,
Or a really rough tree branch.
let's subdivide. Usually what I do for subdividing is making sure if I can see it, or if I can see the faces, so it's in flat rendered mode, but when I zoom out, it should look almost smooth. So,
Okay.
and now I'm just going to I think I cut a little bit too much off of it, so now I'm going to go back in. Oh, that'd be why it's weird. I have not dialed. I have symmetry now. I was wondering why it was being weird. I mean, it made a nice symmetrical axe.
Good.
Now we'll go in and we'll start to add like a couple knots in there. And basically make it feel like it's not just a stick. Then we can keep adding, and then I'm gonna want to make sure the end actually has feel to it a little bit in there. So I'm just building up some bark layers coming up. So. Okay, that's a pretty good piece. So subdivide again, just because I can start to see some stuff. We're starting to bog it down now. This is super fast. Come in and just. So now I'm just smoothing out. I just want to get rid of any of the things I had added. The clay brush that I was using, the brush, what's it called? Clay strips. That, depending on the spacing that you have on it, it can kind of create some little weird anomalies in it. So I like to go through and kind of clean some stuff out after the fact. So, and then I'll come out and finish kind of cleaning it up. Add some larger smoothness to it, and just add a couple of these creases in here. Just to make it feel more like a stick. So that's a stick.
A stick?
Choose one. So that's the one we do want. For that one, hide that off on the side. I'll pop in here to this. Let's go multi-res on that. Subdivide it a few times. That's rather large. We can fix that though. Go back to sculpt and flatten. Flatten along the front half. It's a nice blade profile on the middle. And here's one. Really should have brought my tablet.
Want to borrow one?
Nah, I'm good.
You're a crappy little one.
And then what I like to do is for the metal, what it'll do is it'll take the area plane down a little bit, and then subdivide that up a little bit more. And then what we can do is we can hit it. And
What is area plane? I don't know anything else about it.
so area plane is what you're smoothing to. And so what it's actually doing is, so it's flattening the faces around it, but then at the same time, it's also so the brush is like a smooth, and it's smoothing to an area. It's bringing faces down and bringing faces up.
Mhm.
And the area plane is where, like in relation to your brush, it's actually smoothing to. So whenever I click, the area plane, because it's at a negative, will be slightly below. So when I actually push in, it's actually dropping it in. So it looks,
Denting. Okay.
it's like little hammer marks.
And so if you made it positive, it would raise it slightly?
Yep. So if we go positive here and then start brushing,
Oh.
you can use it almost like a regular brush, so it will smooth and brush things on. So you could do it a lot of different ways. This is what I do. So, and then I'm going to go back to clay, and then hold control and it's kind of a big brush to get back in, just to give some area on the stick. Build it back up slightly. Just so that there's a little bit of area. You could totally do better on that.
You're using clay here instead of brush.
Yeah. I just want to smooth the edges, whereas the clay strips or brush would build up over the entire area, where clay does a little bit of a smooth as well as the build up. So
Okay.
it's just
I learned how to sculpt.
sculpting is really fun. So I set it back to 0, so we'll smooth out, and then I'm just smoothing on.
Though I think when I watch someone who knows what they're doing, it looks more fun than it does when I'm struggling with it. It's less fun.
You gradually get more tools that you can use.
What's that?
You gradually get more tools. You can
Yeah, and it's like anything in Blender. You just gotta learn how to use the tools.
So now I've got this. I'm going to take out a pile of edge loops,
Yeah.
which I don't like. That's awesome. That edge loop I don't need. Edge loop I don't need. So this is, I'm now using this mesh as my retop of mesh.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to find that. And then right? Yeah, I can use that edge loop. Just move that after. So then what we want to do, kill the verts in there. And kill that vert. That vert. Edge mode. Windows key and Alt are
Oh, I know.
positions.
I fucking hate the Windows. I hate that Windows key.
What's that shortcut?
I'm just trying to hit Alt.
Want the that'll extend the next.
Oh, F. The
Oh.
F2 add-on?
Yeah, I have the F2 add-on.
Do you use that?
Okay. I did not.
It's
It's
really
nice.
good. Grab 2 edges, hit F,
Hit
makes a face,
And then
or
grab the edge.
grab an
next
edge,
and-
and it continues to build up all the way around.
Yeah, it's
And that's called an
just it's a add-on. It's in the preferences.
What's it called?
F2.
F2.
I think it's a standard add-on now.
Yep, it's just in it by default.
I just need to remember that now.
Yeah.
Try it out.
It's sweet.
It
It's
is
really
Yeah.
sweet.
I've done that.
It's
circle
one of those
without
things
it
where it's
quite a lot.
like once you start using it, you kind of forget about it. God, why was this not a thing before?
So then we'll go magnetic to a face, edit this, and then just, it's all we want to do really is, so by moving them, what we're doing is, hit. I don't think that actually, it didn't need to be there. But so just by moving, because I have it magnetic and closest on,
Yeah.
it's actually relocating the edge to the face that's
Right.
directly behind it. So, I mean, this is pretty simple retopo. You don't need to worry about thinking about a bunch of things. So really it's just positioning, and you could like turn mirror on or something. I have a slightly weird mesh, and so it might act a little bit weird if I had mirror turned on for some things. Just because it likes to interest me. Mirror is always never behaves the same way twice. So, and then let's try this now. And then what's nice is, so this is a singular mesh. Both the head and the handle are two separate meshes though, but because we have magnetic on it, just it goes to either one, which is really nice.
You have what? What was that last part? Because
The-
you have what?
The magnetic, so the
Oh, yeah,
the
whatever's
snap two.
whatever's below it.
I call it magnetic, but like
Well, it's got a magnet. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never heard it called that, but I understood what you were saying.
Thank
It's got a little magnet.
So, unlike the back ones, I'm not really going to rearrange those. So, usually it's about getting the profile at least set up right. So, I'm actually going to leave the rest of it. Like, the rest of the handle looks okay. I don't think it's going to be that bad. Leave that one back, actually. But so I got that, and then that's really just let's go and add some scenes. So, this one. And then I'm just going to mark. I could mark over the edge of the axe, and I think that's what I'm actually going to do.
Yeah, that's nice sharp edges.
Or not, because it's decided to go. I'm going to move it over. That's off. I'm gonna move it to the corner. Yeah. This face out here should be a try. So. Now we got all the seams done. Back over there. So now let's actually go name our mesh. Axe low. So we have axe low. Make sure it's shaded smooth. On that looks okay, although I don't know why it always like wastes a bunch of space by turning it sideways. Someone's got a lot more resolution. So now we have a map and it's all good to go, so let's just go export out in OpenJ. So, I like 12. That's a nice number. And then selection only. That always throws me for a loop after I've been sculpting and I'll export something. So and then I'll just throw it on my desktop as export it and then hide that. Let's go in here. Select the scope, bring it all the way up. Apply. And then we're going to add a material. And material. Color is not important, it's just really without being able to visualize where things are. Join the meshes. That's a solo mesh that works. You can keep them separate, but I just like to join them. And then it will jump along
Yeah.
as it decides to export a bunch of this.
Why are you exporting them both as images? Are you going to bake in a different program?
Substance.
So you don't use Blender's bake?
I don't use blenders just because Substance. So I have my meshes all done. Oh, that's what I finished doing.
Same.
Shade flat. I still had it on shade flat. I usually end up making that mistake and then the ink in there. So there's Substance designer. Let's do that. No Substance. Metallic rough. Let's go with just half maps and then add them. There you go, because I like it. So what's nice about and go to Explorer and link if we go to our desktop, these documents. If I hide more polys and open those up in resources. The nice thing about bakes in here and why I bake over here is because you can pull the color maps from Mesh and a lot of other bakes.
Well, color maps. But you don't. Sorry, you don't have color.
That was the two materials that were.
Oh, just the red and the green.
Yep, just having the red and the green. Oh,
Or
just 20 pages. Just one. Notification. So back on here. I'm in this call apparently.
what's that?
I'm in this call apparently. Okay, so killing those. Join. Let's go back to sharing the entire screen. That's good. Okay. So the bakes, I set the high poly mesh.
Oh, you're already in here. Let's see. Which one do we want to use?
I was wondering if this was going to have issues with it. How do I get down to the bottom of Substance with the bake? Can you just...
Your screen sharing isn't working.
It isn't?
Wait. No, it just dumped you out again. Oh.
More issues?
We were doing pretty well there for a while, actually. Surprised it was lasting that long. Could be the Wi-Fi here too.
Maybe.
It's not that great.
Oh, no wonder it was having issues with performance. Understand. Kill both of those and join. Screen share. Screen. Okay. Now is it working?
Yes, now you're back. Thank you.
Hide that. There's a button down at the bottom that I can't get to. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I wonder if
What button you can't get to?
this isn't exactly the. So when you bake model information, there's an OK button right there. Oh, wait. Can I do that? Because when I add stuff. Oh, there we go. Now it's showing up. That's nice. Okay, get rid of that. Image collision, color map, culture. And then what's nice, why I like it, is they all bake. Basically everything's still contained in it. Okay, why does it do that? Okay. It hides, there's an OK button
Oh, yeah.
there.
But you can't scroll down to it.
There's no scroll.
Oh, because it added these extra
Yeah.
panels there, huh? Could you minimize that panel? Shrink up that one?
Right click the top bar, then move. Then tap up on the keyboard.
Ah. Oh, unfortunately, you have to grab this back to click without moving your mouse. Or can you just hit enter to leave it there? Yeah, that worked too. No, it worked.
Oh? This is like a fun game. Some sort of arcade.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That was a good try, though. You can't. Can you resize the panel from up top?
There we go.
Hey.
Curvature doesn't have that information.
Okay. Curvature is smaller panel.
Yeah. So what I like about baking everything in here
Yeah.
is that it keeps everything contained inside the program, so that I'm not needing to worry about like going out and grabbing like just my normal and AO bakes and then looking for my color map from somewhere else.
Right. Because you would texture it in here too. No?
I accidentally baked the wrong one in there. So because we have the material set up, it should update. So we can drag the low poly into. That's base color. Let's put a 3D gear down here. And we can go through. Low poly in there. On display the grid. Using let's see if this looks halfway decent. I'm just going to use curvature. Oh, that's right. Base color next to it. Overthrown by things. If there's something else in the way. So.
Was that bottom? Was that AO?
Yep. Okay. So we're going to view this in 3D view as oh, that's a no. That's a no. And then I also like the node-based for me. Node-based, being able to edit things is really nice. I'm going to get rid of my base color just because I want to do 3D more. Because then I can go in here and then start pulling around. So, oh, it looks like it did not. Let's just make sure. That's the other thing that I like about it is that when it does export, Substance updates everything automatically. So I can export, all of my things are contained, and it's a solo pipeline for me. Once I leave,
You don't
so
have to go
that
refresh it or anything.
when I go to texturing in Substance, everything is in Substance, and I don't need to worry about rebuilding things coming out of Substance back to Blender to rebake or
Okay.
something else. I think I might have set these to. No, that's all right. But I mean, that's just me for the simplicity of I don't want to be dealing with all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay, there we go. For some reason, I baked the wrong information. That still looks weird. It might just be how it's shading. Yeah.
That is weird. Almost. No, shouldn't be anything wrong with the normals usually.
Likely. I didn't check my normals before exporting, so that definitely could be it. Yeah, it looks like it is the normals already. But I mean, you can go through, you got your curvature if you want to edit that. And like, what I'll do is you can just to like use your AO or something, use that for. It's a horrible practice to get into, but you can.
What's that? Using your AO for metallic?
Well, using it as both your roughness and metallic, and then you can just gradient, invert the colors and get something close to it. If you stretch them out. I didn't even refill those. I keep them separate just so if I want to change things. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, the normals are weird on it.
Okay.
I mean, it's shiny. So.
Cool.
But for some reason, you can just use the color map from Mesh. It's baking weird in for some reason. It might be because something I didn't set up right. Otherwise, the nodes for me are nice, and I just like having a one-click export, click on name them,
Okay.
and then it's like just reconnect the nodes once you get over to Unreal. So,
Nice.
so it might be. I'm going to export this one. You need to export polygroups. That might click. Having
polygroups.
polygroups are. It's supposed to be if you have like vertice groups and things like that.
Okay.
So kind of like, I think if you skin the mesh, it's a way to bring across skinning as well. Don't quote me on that. I want to say it'd be possible, but I think sometimes it also contains some of the information that Substance uses. So we go back in here. I can turn off all those because we're just interested in this, and we can go polygroup then. And then,
Do you use Painter as well?
no, I don't.
Just a center.
Okay, there we go. So now that came in. So now if we do that in the 3D view,
Okay.
and what's really nice about that is on the edges where it's not actually cutting on, you don't have like that seam of one
Right.
polygon to another where you change the material,
Right.
because it's actually like around the edge there that actually has it. So you can use that too. And then what I really like about Substance with that as well is like when you're in the graph, let's just use one of their examples rather than feeding their own stuff in. Let's go to library and find feature blend. Yeah. That's a fun node. But what's really cool is you can just drag in this color. And so let's connect the diffuse on that one. And normal and roughness and glossiness. There's no AO, so I'll just use the height one. But then we can go to the library and it comes with a nice set, so let's just, because I don't want to actually make anything. Let's go run metal. Let's find old planks. That sounds good. And then move over to the easy connect. And back out, and yeah, that should be right. So we have two colors, material one.
And so it would assign a material to a color.
So let's go like that.
Oh, use, I see.
And then
Ah.
apparently, oh, it connected to base color, not the diffuse. Otherwise, we go like that, and
And boom.
and then what's really nice is it will. Okay, so it's a little bit weird around the edges on how it blended it, but usually it does a really great job with being able to connect them nicely.
Maybe that's normals again.
We don't have any normals feeding in since it's just the default normals on the materials. So what you could do is, and I've done this quite a few times, is you can just go normal map, normalize combine, and we can go back and we can pull in our normal map for mesh, and combine the two, and then we get a mesh insert. Normal map. It's actually picked up.
That's fine.
Okay, let's get rid of the glows. You said something. There has to be some sort of.
Sorry.
Do they have a parameter? I'm not used to using materials.
There you go. Bullets.
No bullet impacts.
There you go.
Okay. No bullet impacts.
No bullet impacts.
Just some rusty metal.
Yeah, that was a bit anachronistic.
And I think we can even go back to this one and change the.
Now, can you rotate the UV coordinate on it?
Yep. So you can use like a transform
Okay.
node. So you need to like run the whole thing through. So I don't know if we can do like. Yeah, you can't do that. But you can do. Let's just pull in base color to base color, and 90 degrees counterclockwise. And if we go back, the color is rotated, but the normals.
Oh yeah. That's funny as you turn.
So if we go back,
Isn't that like a? Huh. You think you could put it input before the material?
I think you can in the newer version of some things. This is 4, but I mean there's still some issues with the gloss.
Cool.
Oh, it's a simple process, and then I like going over here and turning off that, so you get a nice.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to feed. What I like about it is, so once you build an entire node network out, for let's say we have an axe like this, we want to go update the meshes. We can go back to Blender now. Now that we even have like all of this texturing now, we can go back and come on. No. So, well, I mean, we saved the sculpt data out of this, but if we would have like kept a copy of the mesh and we could go back and re-sculpt all this, re-export with the new high and low poly, and because we're using these generated maps in here, and they're in here, as soon as you do your exports, everything in here will just trickle through and refresh.
Cool.
And so that's why I really like using Substance over like trying to figure out other bakers and everything else. It's not the best baker, but it's like, it meets the requirements to keep things rolling really fast.
Right.
Hi, Java. So.
Well, then, while we're on UV baking, I have a question. Maybe one of y'all can help me with. So I have a scanned loaf of bread, right?
Yes.
I got a 3D scanned loaf of bread. And let's
Delicious loaf of bread.
Wait. Where's my high poly? Where's the code? Oh, I see. Am I hiding it? Not rendering it. Oh, I see. There it is. Okay. Okay. So when I bake, so I got this loaf of bread here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I recontoured it, you get some parts like that are outside that mesh, some parts that are inside that mesh.
Mm-hmm.
When I bake in Blender, if what I'm baking to isn't, so these parts.
So if you bake it right now, you'll have like some that are like
baked and then some that just won't be there at all.
There's a really cool feature, and that might be it. Here, can you show me what your UV maps look like for it?
Yeah, I may have. Let's see.
So like if you go into the...
Where'd it go? That's... Where's my AO? There's my normal one. What I ended up doing was I just duplicated the smaller mesh, the low poly mesh, and just made it much bigger. And then it would allow me to bake from high poly to low poly without any holes.
On your bake, depending on what your units are, so if you scroll down, or turn from ambient occlusion to normal, there is a, yes, you're in tangent.
Now, this is a bad example because I was playing with cage baking and I don't know what that is. I was hoping that would fix my problem. I haven't gotten any further than that. Let's see if I can go back back to the old one. All right,
There we go. The ray distance.
the ray distance.
So if you have the ray distance set really low,
Okay.
you'll need to be really close to that mesh to be able to get information. The issue is if you turn it up too high, you can start baking stuff from over here down over there.
Oh, okay.
You might like bake really weird stuff all around.
Okay. Let's see here.
So is that the bake having the issues?
So no, this is the one that I was okay with. The only problem is, let's see. What's going on here? Where's my? Here, let's do this. Nope, don't do that. Nope.
I've never used the upper right-hand corner. I've always gone to the lower left to drag in the window or to do anything.
Okay, that works fine too. All right, so what images do I have here? That was number 2. The other issue I had is at the corners, it does this weird.
Because the mesh is too large. That's probably error now.
Which mesh is too large?
Because this is the bake where you size the smaller or the low resolution mesh up. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you do bake just the regular one, like just do like a quick bake, like maybe a 1K texture bake.
Let's see here. All right. Oops. Okay. And then I gotta get my notes up. What is this? What the hell was I doing here?
I think you're adding your.
Oh, I was adding my AO, wasn't I? Okay, let's get rid of that then. And this was diffuse, but we want normal. We want to select it. And then I'll find my wireframe. And man, I got too much shit going on there. There we go. No. Oh. Okay. Yeah, so you can see, yeah, that's what I did.
Much larger mesh.
Yeah, so I baked from the, and that was the only way I could get rid of those. It was only, it would actually bake the whole thing for me, because anything that was inside the high poly, any part of the low poly that was inside the high poly would not bake properly. Let's see. Okay, that should be. I'm not gonna save this, but so like that's pretty close to what I had, right?
Yeah.
And so then I'd go that. Nope. Can I do it up here? I can't do it up here. So the problem becomes. Nope. I got to do it the other way, don't I? That one. That one, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, selection to active.
And so then we want to do the normals, select it to active, and it'll bake to that one. I gotta make sure I'm doing all this right. Not that. And then we'll leave it on that.
What's the resolution of the mesh?
So that's what I get. Anything that is outside bakes fine. Anything that's inside the mesh won't bake. Why is that?
So do you have most of the top on that bake?
So you can see what I got here was
So like which section is the top of the bread on your unwrap?
the top of the bread would be this here, these strips. See these couple of strips? So it baked these polys that are peeking out, but it baked them kind of funky.
'Cause it might just
And then it baked that, and then it baked nothing on this side.
Does the right distance make a difference?
What can I go up to? 0.5?
Try that.
No, is this units or is this?
Blended units.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably part of my problem is that when this imported, it decided this loaf of bread was 30 meters long.
I think that might actually do it now that I think about it. It baked. Change ray distance.
It's slow. It's an old computer.
We'll give it time.
It's on GPU too.
What?
So that's better. Okay. Oh, and it got the corners much nicer too. Okay. So then if I just boost it up to like 0.7,
I would do like 1.
1.
Because those edges are going to go deeper and deeper.
Okay. Oh, I wonder why it does just play with that.
Because it's just distance used for inward raycasts.
Huh.
So that would make sense why the outside was rendering fine.
Okay. And now it looks good. So let's see here. Take this, hide that. And then we'll just put this on that.
That's the color, not the normal though. That's your normal.
Oh, that's right. I'm just showing the.
Oh, just showing it.
Why isn't it coming through now?
You don't have such a ring.
What's that? Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, all right then. That looks awesome. Ray distance. Learned something new. Probably should have had the camera on the screen the whole time. Oops, sorry. All right, so ray distance. Thank you.
No,
That was driving me crazy.
there's actually a really cool thing with baking that if you've ever pulled your hair out, I found out about this week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do a lot of game asset stuff.
Yeah.
Usually, so you're trying to save texture space, so you might reuse some texture space, right?
Okay.
Have something a little bit weird. So if you have, say, a face, we split the laptop in half, and we want like half of the laptop textured, so we only need that half on the texture sheet.
Okay.
And flip it over. If you did a bake, it would bake one half and then the other half, right? And then like interleave weird. So if we do like a bake, and so we have, so okay, let's subdivide this, and then forgot the faces. Grab a few faces. Let's extrude these in. So now there's a few faces that are like that, and a few that are not. And if we go over, hold up, I'm just going to go full screen. And then go over to UV image editor. So I'm going to unwrap it. And it's just going to unwrap like a solo face for each.
Yeah.
So, and then let's add a new, let's make this 256. We don't need it huge.
Yeah.
Let's make it small. So we got that. Let's make ambient occlusion. Back of it here. And you go. What about ambient occlusion? The rest of it. Here. Strong to 3 centimeters. Okay. So, if you notice, every face is all baked with the final face. So none of them actually have the correct bake. There's like one face that has the right bake.
Right. Because it's all the same map. It's all the same texture.
So here's what's really cool. This is what I found out. Let's go like this. Let's project from view bounds. So now that will bake a nice one.
Okay.
If we just bake those faces. Let's hide those and select everything else. And then move those over. Off of the one, so the 0 to 1 UV space. So they're not on the UV space right now.
Right.
And now let's hit bake. Anything outside of the 0 to 1 UV space, when baking, no matter what the bake is, won't be baked.
Huh.
So you can have all this geometry out here. I mean, and because
it will
the UV
only
space,
bake what's in there,
and
and then you can just use that same. Oh, that's a good little shortcut.
Yeah.
So if you want it all, the space is the same.
So
and then you would just go ahead and move your.
if we do this project from view bounds, it actually looks pretty close. I mean, it's off, but it's pretty close. It doesn't look horrible. And let's do that for over here. Maybe project from bounds. Let's grab. Oops, it's a little bit hard to see. Let's go over here.
So it will only bake the UVs that are in the space.
Yep.
In that space.
So
And anything you unwrap out of that, it won't?
So now we've got them all projected onto this view. So now if we hit bake and watch over here, it will bake around. we end up with those,
Right.
and like you end up with those weird artifacts.
Overlapping essentially.
Yep. But if we go now and we grab all these, we can move them anywhere in the space as long as they're not in that one-to-one, the actual texture space for it. Go back and bake, and it bakes a perfect bake.
That's funny. Because it's only baking the UVs that you have.
Yep.
Would you call it the 0 to 1 space? That's what that.
The 0. So if you notice when you move something and snap,
Right.
it calls it. It's actually using
The pixels.
the pixels of it. So the X pixels, but you can like it's 0 to 1 is what the UV is. So it's 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1.
Right.
0, 1. 0 to 1 space because it's a vector, so it's scalable. So it's just a float value
Okay.
from 0 to 1.
So everything in there. Huh.
Yep.
Cool.
That's what I thought you were talking about with baking, not rendering stuff that you had like, oh, part of your mesh was just outside of the one space.
Oh,
But I mean, like, I found out about that. I'm just like, oh,
that's pretty cool.
genius. I
Yeah.
don't need to worry about like all sorts of other little things. On the
You'll
side.
bake one face.
Yeah.
So what's cage baking then? You know? I was trying to figure out what that
To
was.
Google-
I
to
thought that
Google.
might be. Okay.
I think cage baking is like it might expand the mesh more. I'm just guessing here.
Okay.
I've never used it. I've always done fun with baking as is.
I was wondering if that was going to solve my problem, and I'm glad I didn't bother learning that. Because that was a much easier solution. Cool.
Oh. There we go. Must be more.
So then you don't really play too much with like creating the materials in Unreal because you've already done them in
Oh no, I'll do them in Unreal.
You'll do more.
There's all sorts of fun stuff you can do. We're doing it now. It's probably on the desktop. There it is. Nice cube.
Did you make that?
Oh heck no. It's just a photo.
Oh, is it? See, I can't tell what's a photo and what's a render anymore.
It's getting to be that. Apparently Epic's taking a while. It's taking an epic time. Okay. No thanks. But I mean, the engine linking stuff together, it's if you've used like cycles to make materials, it's so close to it that I don't think it's
So close to Substance or so close to?
just node-based editors.
Oh,
in
I see what
general
you're saying. Yeah.
are so close to it
Right.
that like you understand node-based editing, you're good to go. Pretty much. Because I mean, like you've got your material like the same, not the same, very close to what you would see in like Blender, the node editor for setting up the material.
Right. And I noticed that.
Like, apparently on top. Let's go grab a new green. Whoa. An artifact. I'm artifacted out. That's fun. Poor little Intel. The only thing that will throw you for a loop until you know about it in Unreal is that when you import a normal texture, you must change this to normal map.
I don't do that for you.
Depending on how you import it.
Okay.
But you need to make sure that that's over, otherwise your normal maps will not work.
Huh.
So,
Alright.
have you run into that issue at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay. It just automatically flips it over to normal?
Oh, let's find out. I'll open something.
Because like I've had issues, the only issues that I've had in Unreal have been when it doesn't flip over to normal maps when importing.
All right.
Even with it named _ normal map.
Trying to
It
think.
still won't change the default conversion. because the default is just like the default import.
Oh, I'm trying to think. I haven't played with it in a little
So
while.
it just changes the color space for it and can mess up like how things are
Right.
compressed in it.
Maybe I just never noticed.
But then, yeah, material setups are. I'm just using like the default material
Yeah.
and just like linking things. And,
Okay. That's all
I mean, you can have fun like connecting more stuff if you wanted to build up a lecture shader.
Oh, excuse me.
Like I'm right now, I have the project at home. I didn't end up loading it up, but was reading values in for mixes. So if you have I forget the name of it. It's somewhere. I have it all built up at home. But when you have a like mix shader, having like a value from Unreal feed in to change a texture. So like you can have a metal material
Mhm.
and you can have a mask of like where rust would appear.
Right. Right.
And then like
You mask what the metallic is.
it's having between the two.
So this is my question. I don't play too much with cycles, but there's a roughness setting on the diffuse
Mhm.
shader. Has that always been there?
Yeah.
Now is that the same roughness? Because it's not. This isn't PBR, or is this just tricking me here?
It's not PBR, but the roughness that it's using is used in the same way as PBR.
Huh.
So the roughness of the surface just talks about like how it's doing the calculations on it,
Sure.
which is the same way as PBR. PBR assumes you have a like basically a glossy material.
Okay.
So it assumes that you have what is glossy look like? This loads up. Oh, it's nice going to 2.5A right away. Let's go to another editor. Oh, that doesn't default to cycles on the laptop. That's interesting. What if we use nodes in the material? Because I think glass has a roughness, no milk powder. I don't remember exactly. There was a download I remember someone posting of like a PBR environment.
Let's see here. What do I have a normal map on? You know, I may not have even imported my normal maps yet. I think I'm just doing like the diffuse. I think I only have the diffuse on at this point. Maybe these guys have one. Materials. Let's see what materials I got. Nope, I don't need all of those. Oh yeah, well that would explain why.
Oh,
There we go. Yeah, the mattress has a normal.
oh, so if you look at the collider difference, like double click on that one. That one doesn't look like it's. Oh no, it might be set. Yeah, that one's set, but not by default. It's set.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't change that. Let's see how about this one.
It might be. Did you import them? Did you import the meshes from Blender and have the materials set up in Blender when you imported them?
No, I do them separately. I import the material. I import the mesh, and then I just bring. I don't, except for UV unwrapping them to the image textures.
Okay.
I don't import the materials too. I import the materials separately.
Okay.
So I think maybe then it's doing it for me.
It might be doing it in the material then because if you set up like your incoming nodes, it
Right.
might save that data,
Okay.
which is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only normal I have.
Metallics and pipes.
Yeah, I haven't finished these textures. It's so fast. That's pretty good. I just playing with this one. I snagged a couple of textures, but I really prefer using image, like photo-based textures. Like all these textures in here, except for these ones, are photo-based. And you just there's a level of detail that you just, like the little dings and nicks that you just don't get with some of the procedurally created stuff that's then exported as, I don't know. I've never really been happy with procedural stuff.
It can also depend on the procedure exactly how you have it mapped.
It could also depend on my skill level, which is not really very high. So
The
I rely on that. Then this is their material.
Hmm.
All right. Oh yeah, so I was trying to figure out if this does anything with roughness, but I don't know if I need a.
It does.
Do I need I probably need an image texture in here. I probably need a texture in here. See, I don't know anything about cycles, or very, very little.
You don't need texture. No.
Huh?
You can just feed values in.
So let's see. Bring the roughness all the way up. It's not very bright though, is it? Spot. Sun. Point. That? I don't know. Max bounces.
Okay,
There we go. Okay, so we're back to this. So I don't really see. Well, I guess there's a difference there. Huh? It's subtle.
It changes the edge.
No.
So the difference.
Oh, okay.
So if you look on like the lower edge there, how that plays versus that edge there,
It shaded it.
it's like how it rolls through.
All right.
The more rough the surface, it's how like the light catches on the edges. I think it's close to, what do you call it? A Fresnel? Fresnel? Starts with an F.
I think it's Fresnel.
It's like a shader texture. I like how it does velvet. It's nice.
Do you play with that at all? Do you use the, where is it?
Pixel depth offset?
No, the Fresnel. On anything. Apparently it's I don't know. I started trying to learn about it because someone said it was really important for realism in terms of how the angle at which the light reflects off the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really played with it much.
Because as you get to an edge of a material, it will
Right.
behave differently. So based on the tangent of the material, it behaves a ton differently than like the normal material.
Sure.
And it's really hard to describe that in like a single shader.
Right.
So sometimes it's nice to have like two shaders you can switch based on.
Or like with, what the way I was thinking was like with wood, if you look at it straight on, you get very little reflectivity. But oftentimes if you come at it at an angle, you'll get some of the greens and you'll get a real sharp, like it'll really brighten up some of the spots, but I haven't read that much.
So if we do that, can we use potential to mix?
For now? Node?
Where's for now?
I think there's a node.
Oh, there is.
Oh yeah, and then you can look up the IOR for everything too.
Huh.
Yeah, because then you get that shiny around the edge.
Or
not. Right.
there we go. Because then we can. next. It's like, well,
Yeah. He's very subtle, but you can kind of see it.
Maybe it might be better to go that way.
Yeah, now you can see it. That's a pretty cool effect, actually. So is that how you get the outline for things? Like you can do like, is that how they calculate the outlines for when you want to like outline an object or you want to outline a, like the what's the render? The freestyle. I wonder if that's how they calculate that.
No,
No.
freestyle is calculated on like a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wonder, actually. Let's try. Instead of that, try the diffuse. Try that. So this one. So now it's like dark on the edges. And you just do like.
Yep. Whoa. Cool. Look at that. And then no matter what angle you're looking at it from, you'll get.
I think the only issue is if you do. Oh, it's stuff out of. Oh, it's. I forgot symmetries on by default. I think if you start adding some surface details to things, and then come back. Then you end up with.
Then you end up with all sorts of weird stuff. Huh. That's funny.
Yeah, so even if it's just playing a slight bit of that edge,
Yeah.
it pulls in. So you can have some really weird shaping.
Wow. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
My friend's almost remembering.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like it's grabbing.
Yeah.
It's grabbing a certain angle.
Right. So it's not just it's just grabbing the angle.
Definitely impacted. It's classy. That's really shut down. Oh, shit. Or if you don't- there was some. The faces were rendering this like weird.
Because I think that's what this kind of grayed out one here is. I think this is your index of refraction. But I was playing with it that didn't really do anything, so I must be missing
I
something.
think refraction requires you to have transparency on there somewhere.
Oh, really?
Because refraction would be through the surface
Right.
of how it would do light.
Well, that's technically what the Fresnel is. It's your index of refraction.
But it's like calculating. Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, because it's calculating how it It's kind of almost like that subsurface scatter.
I think
I think I don't know what I'm doing.
the only difference with an Unreal shader is like it's outputting a material to some. No, you're right. Like you use your IOR for things in material, I feel like more than you would actually output to it.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with using that.
I don't know. And I wonder why. So why are some grayed out on this? Do you know? And why are some?
So it's not usable in material.
But you can still attach stuff to it, but they're not.
It's not out. The material doesn't output that. I would say then.
That makes sense. So there, yeah. So I must be missing something in the material that.
Or like the material. If you go to like in the editor, can you if you click on it over here, it might have like outputs to it. Something in here. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking maybe it's something in here that.
To the internet. Oh, I can't get on the internet to this machine. That's right. That's my computer. Ha. Let's see. Search. Free. Takes a texture or a value that simulates the IOR, useful for glass and water. So yeah, you must, I think you're right, you must have to. Oh, you got to touch a. Oh, it's a little more complicated than just slapping a number on it. Oh yeah, so you have to play with the opacity. So let's see. Here we go. We need some, but then opacity is blurred out too. Oop. I don't know. I'm supposed to do that. Constant. So one would be. Yeah, no, it's not. Oh, it's not doing anything. Control Alt? Oh no. Not this. Blend mode opaque. So I have to change it here. Aha!
Yeah.
So
And
now
now
opacity.
refraction's not clear.
And now refraction's up. Wow. That's going to be messed up. Opacity.
But this is translucent, not transparent.
Oh. Still. Let's see what happens when we have a translucent leather. Okay. So if it's 0, it's completely. So we'll go like 0.99. Let's get rid of this. See what happens. Okay. That's weird.
Did you want like a 0.01?
I think 0.01 is going to make it be almost completely transparent.
Yeah.
I want it to be essentially opaque, but barely. Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is how that would work.
Mm.
So we want to masked additive. What's additive do? It gives me opacity and refraction.
What it's going to be is inside of the world, whatever values that it is, those values, it'll be like a layer in Photoshop. That's
Oh,
so
blended with their background colors. So, what would you use that for?
lasers.
Oh, so
Want lasers flying out into the environment? They'll always add. They won't. So if there's something bright behind them, so if they slowly fade out around them, instead of mixing that color out to that, it will brighten and then come down to the brightness. So if you shoot a laser towards the sun,
okay.
instead of having like a red blend out around the edges, it'll always add up. So as it shoots towards the sun, you just see this white bolt fly into the sun. Otherwise, you get this little outline and the red laser fly into the center. So,
Huh.
there's an advantage to how you blend things.
That's modular. Let's see. Determines how the material's colors blended with background colors.
Modulate?
So it's like additive, but you can tweak how it blends with the background.
I think it tweaks based on properties.
All right. Default blend. Subsurface. Whoa. I don't know what I did.
Oh, you need the subsurface color. Connect your texture sample back. So then what you can do is you can feed a different color into your surface and
You can get a different subsurface color.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool. Let's see. Oh, well, it looks exactly the same if it's the same thing.
That's called default.
Subsurface. Pre-integrated skin. Clear coat?
So clear coat
God damn.
is like a car.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So what you end up with
Cool.
is like one color and then another color, if I remember right. Yeah.
oh, and then can you tweak the color of the clear coat? Oh, you can.
Yep.
Ah, what was I going to use this for?
Paint.
Yes, but there was a. Why the hell was I worried about? There was something in here, wasn't it?
Light bulbs.
No. This must have a clear coat on it too.
Mm.
I forget I was going to use it for something, and now I can't remember. And I was trying to figure out how you would do that without. But I didn't want a car paint. I was going to use. Oh, I know what I was going to do, because one of the things I need for this is I need plates that are made that are what's called enamelware. So essentially, it's
Like
metal with
blue camping.
yeah, like that exactly. And so this is all in white enamelware, and you can't get that kind of information from a
Scan.
it doesn't work. It just doesn't come out at all. But that's interesting. I wonder if I could play with that, play with the clear coat. Let's see. Okay, so we'll leave that. We'll get rid of that. Oh, can I? Let's see. Break blank. There we go. Clear coat. That's probably just a constant, right? And then we'll go. So 0. This will be like 0.05. Whoa. So something like that would kind of.
So this is like fading between the two, if I remember right. So the clear coat is the mix value. No, right.
So it just makes it essentially seem like you have this kind of shiny reflective coating on it. And I wonder if then for the clear coat I could put in a color.
I think you could put a texture in to define areas where it wouldn't. I don't.
Where
know
it
about
wouldn't, where it
color.
wouldn't. Then I could mix it. So then you go 0.5. Oh, it must. Whoa. Why did. Oh, is this
Try going
the.
to 1.
It'll make it completely. I think it's the transparency of it. Yeah. So if I go down to 0.01, it should just be white. Oh no. Well, why did 0.5 make it look white? Actually, that's a really good look for leather. Come to think of it, actually, that probably looks better than the leather I had before. How did I get to that? Oh, that's over here. Right? Yeah, that actually looks better than I had before.
I want to say you could actually feed
a nice
like a
look leather.
slight value in, like a 0.0 something to the metallic, and you would actually get close to a clear coat. Because you'd get like,
Oh, instead of using the clear coat?
yeah,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
because the metallic value is basically what you're getting out of a clear coat. The clear coat, the advantage you get out of a clear coat is it's not based on the normal map or the color map. or things like
Right.
that. So you could turn up from 0.01 maybe to like maybe a 0.1. See what that does. Maybe a bit too much.
Huh. It gives it a more. Weird.
Oh, you might want to play with your roughness as well.
No. Yeah, probably. I wonder why I had that.
I'm trying to remember which way.
Why didn't I just use a
roughness and
constant?
torque
Huh.
go. They're weird guys. They end up at different ends.
Yeah. What else do we have here? That was fun. Subsurface profile. Inputs are combined to create the materials. I don't know what that means. That's fine. Basically, two-sided tangent space. Or world. Oh, what's a world space tangent normal? I never understood quite what that's for.
Snow is the easiest way to describe it.
Okay.
So, regular normals, you have got your face, and it's like it calculates the extra detail into it, right?
Right.
Let's say you want to add. So it always points in the direction normal to the face. World will always be in relation to the world. Where is that face pointing? So it looks completely wrong to a normal bake. So
Yeah, it's really strange.
yeah. The advantage to it is you can say, okay, any colors above, like if they're pointing in this direction, change the material, use it as a mask. That's one of the best uses that I've seen for it. So example, what Skyrim will do is it's got a bunch of different like rocks, and it places those in any way that they want. The level designers did that. When it snows, it pulls the material and asks which way is up that you're facing. throw the snow on top of that now.
Oh, so it's essentially just a way of telling. So then you could use then your tangent space normal and your world space normal to do two different jobs?
So here, so if I grab my
Well, that's interesting. So it's just a way of telling the engine which way's up.
Yep.
And then but what happens if you rotate the rock?
world space versus object space. So there's world space, object space, and tangent space. Tangent space is based on the face and then the texture relative to the face.
Right.
Object space is wherever the object is pointing relative to that. And world space is relative to the world, where is the face?
Oh. But you can bake. But in Blender, can't you bake?
You can make world and object space.
But how would you... But if you pre-baked world space, wouldn't that be something you had to do in the engine? Right, because if you pre-bake the world space and then you rotate it...
I think it saves it as part of like one of the light bakes when it goes through. Maybe it calculates on the fly. I'm not sure. Does it have a world option in Unreal? Because the information that you bake out is just based on the position of the object. Oh, you might not have actual world space. You might only have object space models. Does it say world space?
Yeah, it says world space. So by default, it's just a toggle. So it's by default, it takes a tangent normal space or a world normal space as input.
Okay. Oh,
Let's see.
is that so? That's for the normal map.
Wow.
So if you were to save out a world space map, so that's a difference on. So this is a material setting. This is
Right.
what you're feeding in. So you could export out of Blender in a world space map, and then use that as your input here, and then also modify that texture based on like if you imported some object geometry of like the rotation of the object and the position, and then modified the normal based on those parameters, and then used that for masking the snow. Because you need to do some sort of calculations with the object for that. But then you could use it as a mask.
Okay. I think I might get it.
World space has its place. I like
Okay.
tangent space over world space.
Yeah.
The advantage to world space can be if you're having issues around the edges of an object when you do your normal bake. So if you have like, if you've ever like just trolled through help forums and just looked at other problems people are having with the normals map, the number one normal problem you'll usually see is people with their normal maps like it's supposed to be a cylinder, and then I'll just be like, and like you'll see the edges
Right,
like,
right,
probably
right.
around it.
Right.
If you bake in a world space, that's a way to get around that.
Oh.
Because
opposed to just
because then what you're doing is you're grabbing new world space based on, because with the tangent maps, the smoothing groups
Right.
is what can hit and cause that.
right.
So if you remove smoothing groups and just do world based,
Huh.
that can be a solution. Then you
Okay.
usually have to like rebake tangents or otherwise.
Right.
That might be one solution. It's probably not the best. You should just fix your.
Picture model. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want to do that, if it's too high resolution, it might be another option. And Unreal supports it. I mean, I haven't come across an area where I needed to use something.
See, this is one that I got online. I'm not.
A lerp. It's lerping a white with a texture symbol.
That might be me. I
Oh.
might have been screwing with it. Toggle color. Oh, I see. That's just. I see.
Oh, it might be for changing the colors.
Yeah, but I didn't want to edit. Sorry. You're not going to go away now, are you? I think what I was doing is I was trying to brighten the. Oh, that's small. I think what I was trying to do is I was trying to either brighten or darken the material.
Yeah, because now it's. To rebuild the material.
A little darker. Actually, that's a little better. But it's still so plain. There's no, like, it's just the brush metal.
And you want those little details.
Have you worked with decals in this? Like adding decals to things?
No, that's
No.
more level design. That's not what I do.
Well, because that's one of the things I'm curious about. So let's say you have, your basic material like this, right?
Mhm.
What's as opposed to going back, UV unwrapping, and having like another layer of texture on it, adding that to your diffuse, why not just slap? So let's say you want some grime coming down from the walls, right?
Mhm.
Why not just slap a decal on it, as opposed to adding it to the diffuse? Is there a cost? Is there a cost there to the decals, or is it?
Decals are expensive.
Are they?
Yes, performance wise. I know that much.
Okay.
I know that there is a cost because you are loading another texture, and that texture isn't just a diffuse map; it's a diffuse and an alpha map to trim in the edges. And so you're trying to blend between those, and then also it's an extra draw call because you have I'm just spitting words out now, but it's like you
No, I
have an
understand.
extra face there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it needs to render through or something, and so then it ends up spending more time on it.
So then it doesn't make. So then see, this is I think where material instancing would be useful, because then, if I have like this particular wood texture here,
Mhm.
right, and here I want to add grime to it, but over here I want to have something slightly different. I think that's where the instancing would be useful, as opposed to instead of having two diffuse maps, right? Then I can just start layering. Like in the actual material creation. No, is that a thing? I think it's stuff up.
That might be useful depending on where you use it,
Yeah.
because normally, if you're trying to do that inside of a singular asset, then you run into issues with performance on the singular asset assigning multiple materials to it. But since they're so far away, I don't see a problem with that.
So let's say you wanted to have like grime coming down here, but if it were in the actual material, then you'd have it up here too, right? Because it's in the ceiling.
Yeah, I think you just have a couple of materials, like a wall material, a ceiling material,
Huh.
a corner material.
They need up with like 8. I mean, I got a freaking trillion materials as it is. You end up with 8,000 materials for one. Okay, that's just.
A material per object, we end up with a lot of objects. I mean, that makes sense to me.
See, that's the other thing. If you use like Substance Designer and Painter, you like paint the object and it looks nice, and then you got one map
Yeah.
per object. which to me seems like if you have every object with its own texture, is that really more efficient than putting decals on it? Is it? It just seems like a lot to load.
Well, there are ways that you could optimize it. For example, the maps that use the resolutions on them, you don't need all those maps at 2K. It helps to have them all at 2K, but you could like downscale. And so like an AO map, you could like drop down to even being like 512 or something to save them. Not that it takes up that much, but then also look at the compression. So like what I do for my maps, I keep killing the wheel because it's slow and then it'll take a while. Here, if you open up a texture, so like this is your roughness texture.
Yeah.
If you open up your roughness texture.
Oh, can't do it from there, huh?
So it's compressed at the default, which means what it's actually compressing is 4 channels worth of color. You get your RGB and your alpha.
Okay.
If you click on default and drop that down to like a grayscale, all that saving is 1 channel now. It errors this out and you need to reset it up. So you just need to drop this down from being a source from our color, dropping color,
I see.
color down to grayscale, and then it fixes it. But it saves a bunch of space actually on the asset because when it compresses, all of a sudden you went from being 4 channels to 1 channel. So you save through those channels. Or you could even, like some of the projects that I was working on, we were compressing our roughness map into the alpha of our normal. And then then there was 99% of our materials didn't actually use an alpha channel at all. And so then we'd actually integrate the metallic into the alpha of our texture sample. And so then we'd just be loading 2 textures into the engine actually. It'd be 8 total channels worth of like RGB data that would be loaded in. But then when I was doing the compression, it was just compressing. Like that.
Okay. I wonder why that, especially for like, that's roughness. But I mean, roughness, it's only 0 to 1, right?
Yep.
So I wonder why that wasn't already set as grayscale.
So when
Whoever
you
made this.
when you import the generic stuff,
Okay.
that's what it is. And roughness, sometimes you'll run like different values between stuff. And so then it's also like you can say 0 to 1 on the roughness, but that's actually a scale of 0 to 255 because it's the
Right.
depth of the image.
Right.
And so then you can save stuff there, and then other places like a material might seem expensive to have a full material, but really for this you're only loading 3, 4, 7 channels worth of material right now.
And this is a super simple material.
Yeah.
So then could you layer, so let's see here. Where's my match? So could you layer then, no, I didn't want the texture. I wanted the material. Oh, there it is. There's my material. Why is everything so far away? So if you had can you mask and layer textures in this, like you would, like in Photoshop, or I mean,
You can.
even
It becomes a little bit more expensive if you do it on like a massive scale. So if you know that you're always going to be doing these things, then it might be better to just have a separate texture.
Okay.
Because otherwise it is doing the heavy lifting every time you're looking at the material.
But then would it? So for example, for example here, so I essentially just have a whole bunch of the same objects that I've duplicated. Because this is kind of how I view it, as opposed to having each object have its own color. I like to have like less materials, and then I just reuse the objects in different places. Would it? I'm wondering if it would then make sense to layer that with a, so
So you're talking about doing the drips from the ceiling, right?
yeah, so let's say I wanted to do that and I had like a grunge. So let's say I wanted this one to have a grunge one. Instead of going out and adding a grunge layer to this, could I add another texture sample and then with an alpha channel and then blend the two?
So here's where it becomes interesting
Okay.
on a performance aspect. The material, it takes some performance to get it loaded in. So
Yeah.
you're already going to have two materials. Like you're going to instance them, but you're already
Right.
having two. So you have that overhead of already having.
That's true. Okay.
You're bringing in a mask for that other material. You already have the texture loaded in the RAM. So just copying the material, it's just that little bit of overhead to have a copy.
Right.
Now, anything that we change over here makes it more expensive.
Mhm.
So now let's compare like the two ways we could change them. If you just change up the texture, you're loading in a whole new texture.
Uh-huh.
So it's like another 3 channels worth of color data.
Okay.
At like, is this 2K, 1K?
This one is, I think it's just one.
Okay.
No, this one's 2K because it's the walls.
Okay. So you're loading in you're loading in a singular 2K texture.
Yeah.
So that's expensive. On the other hand, if you make a new material and you use a 2K grunge map and a 2K mask or like something to add that on,
Right.
but
what
just spent your budget of everything that you're saving by not importing another
That's
texture.
true. But let's say you use grunge. I mean, really, you're just smearing stuff.
Yeah.
You could potentially use 1024 even.
Yeah.
Or smaller.
Or if you used, for example, maybe a 256-bit texture
Right.
over it just for like where the grunge would be, and then the actual grunge texture would be like multiplied out. So it'd be a much
Right,
smaller texture
right.
but multiplied out.
Right.
So you'd have the same detail as 2K and you'd be loading in 2 smaller textures. Would be another option.
Huh. It's not necessarily a perfect answer as to if it's better to have something like that or have just simply more, like less but more complicated texture materials as opposed to more materials but each material is less complicated. I suppose.
I think if you're instancing each material, like you were talking
Yeah.
about, I think that saves on the overhead. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
It looks like it should.
Okay.
So I want to say there isn't that much of an issue if you're instancing a material set to just be there.
I gotta start playing with that. Because that's, I don't know, that's just kind of how I visualize. I mean, I could see like, so for example, like certain objects like, like the gramophone. It really, that would be something that would really benefit from having its own texture map. As opposed to what I've done here is I've just taken different textures and slapped them in different parts, which is okay, but, or like the piano too, is, oops, wrong button. This would be the sort of thing that would benefit from being painted. Why is that one? Oops, wrong way. That's weird. That's the same material here as it is here. It's reflecting funny. Oh, I know why. Because this UV is flipped. That's not even where it's supposed to be. This is not a good UV unwrap. Because it's so washed out. Why are the colors so washed out?
Have you baked lighting recently?
No, I haven't.
That could be.
That's probably
Because sometimes if it doesn't update the, what is it, the environment map or something, how it calculates a lot of its colors.
Okay, so that's another question I have. These fellers here, I've never seen anything that says how many you need, how often you need to place them, but I definitely notice as I move them around, it makes a big difference in, one, the reflection of things, plus the color, especially off the like reflective metals. Are these are just used in baking the lighting, right? These are just used for lighting and reflectivity, no?
So you will see them in the sphere reflection captures. So you'll see those in game, how it will light things based on those areas. So are you familiar with like HDRI images, like the 360 surround? So it's capturing one of those, and that's what it's basing like lighting in that area.
Okay.
Is based on that capture.
So, for example, here I have 2. One on this side, one because it kind of seemed that there's this like darker area over here behind this set of stuff, and then I had one over here. Do I really need 2? I need 1? There's just something to experiment with and decide what.
I think it's really experimental on where you want to place them.
Okay.
Because the more that you add, the better quality you're going to get, but it will cost a little bit more.
Okay. All right.
I think like maybe there should be like some sort of guideline on like how many units in between a minimum you can place.
Huh.
Do they have a
Yeah.
one?
Oh, got it.
Oh,
All right, well, we're over here. Here we go. So, sphere reflection capture. Oh. Many of these can be placed around the world with almost no performance impact as they are calculated before runtime.
yeah. I want to say that you shouldn't have an issue with
Don't
that.
worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So much to learn. So little time to do any of it.
Where's the example? I'm confused now.
What's that?
So in the example, in this example, I'm guessing this. The purely shadow captures are blended together on the surface, with very noticeable transition from the small example one to the full room capture that is in place.
Bo.
Oh, so they have a singular room capture that's lighting everything. So the lighting on this looks pretty good. But when you actually throw a sphere right here, you get this really nice capture of exactly what the reflections will look like.
Okay.
So around things that have reflections, I think it's a good idea to have them in.
Okay.
So the sphere reflection capture size apparently. The resolution monitors are not fun.
Alrighty. Well, that answered a bunch of my questions. Thank you.
There's the draw radius. So apparently it has a very large draw radius in mind.
Oh, that's a. See, now I think maybe this is my problem here because this is the draw radius, isn't it?
Draw radius 0. So now if you zoom out.
Holy moly!
Yep.
That might be too big, huh?
Well, it will blend between all of them that are within that draw radius. So if you scale that down to make sure that it touches on
The area that it
other
needs.
ones.
Oh,
But
okay.
you want to make sure that you have one that does encompass everything. So I'd say grab one, put it in the center, and have
Okay.
it large. So like maybe like that one or something. Have that capped at the large size, but then turn the other ones down smaller. Maybe.
Oh. No. Not that.
I don't have a scene with a bunch of stuff to try one day on. Or a processor to actually process things.
Where would I change that?
The size?
Draw radius.
They're both inherited from it. Could you scale this?
Influence radius? Is that what I'm looking for? Here, let's go. Let's back up. Since it's highlighted, let's get it to 1,000. Nope, that didn't do it. 3,000 would only be 3 meters anyway. Whoa. Huh. Yeah, because once you click on draw radius, you can't. Oh, it's editable in C++. Well, then I'm out. I assume that's what this means here, right? Native
Yeah.
components are editable and are declared as U property in C++. Huh. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, it says right there. Source. This probably wouldn't be something that would be terribly difficult to change in C++, would it be? It's probably just a number. I wonder why it's only changeable in C++.
For some reason, I can't see the radius for the component anymore. I tried scaling the object and for some reason it issued. It might be the influence.
No, it didn't seem to change the size of it, though. It definitely changed the look of things, though.
Because it's the area that, so it will bake within that area,
Right.
but then where it shares that bake information to.
Right. But it's only 3 meters. So, I mean, and this thing is to scale. So it should be, this is not 3 meters. Oops. Sure. Ugh. I gotta change that setting. That's so annoying. How slow it changes the, what do you call that?
The adaptive
Yeah.
luminance or whatnot.
Where is that? Project setting.
The scale on it.
That's one of these stupid settings in here. And then project setting. Map and modes. Oh, I forget that. Is it editor preferences? Maybe editor preferences. Viewports. Look and feel. No, I don't know where it is. Appearance. Nope. Oh well, not that big a deal. Huh. So this one has, why is this influence rating so much bigger? 3, so this one's 5. That one's 3. Which one is 5? Why? That's 5. All right. Cool. What are you making, Darren? A pigeon?
I'm gonna make a songbird, like a chickadee.
Oh, see, I could tell it was a bird already.
That makes me happy.
Huh? Oh, no, it's good. You got the good basic outline for it. I thought pigeon, but songbird. Just for
Right,
fun or for something?
For fun.
Animate it, make it sing, fly.
I want to, there's a book I read, and it was done by a visual artist, and I read the book and then saw her pictures of the characters in the book.
Mhm.
And one of them was a bird whose mouth opened, beyond the beak. And I imagined it as this cute songbird that opened up to a monster whereas the person imagined it more as kind of a general monster without that duality of nature. Something to somehow visualize that,
Okay.
what I imagined.
Well, that'll be good. Cool.
So we'll see if I can pull that off.
Sounds freaky.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Little scary.
That about covered everything I was thinking of.
Mm.
I'm glad you came. I filled up a lot more time than I had plans for.
I saw Unreal. I'm just like,
Yay!
I've been playing.
That's awesome. That's great.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, there was a fella last time that was like, "Oh, did you record it?" So this would be up on YouTube afterwards. You'd be famous.
Oh,
I always mean to go through and like mark times where, you know, like we talked about this here, and we talked about this here, because really,
Oh.
who's going to want to sit and go through 3 hours of us talking?
Yeah.
Not even me, but I'll try to get around to doing it.
You can like search around, like just skip through it, and add some quick annotations in the bottom of the video or something.
I did that at one point where we had one sitting up there, and I think I added it to the notes below the video of what was at what certain time points too. So
I'm still trying to figure out splines.
in Unreal.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was watching a video on it, and it looked really interesting.
yeah.
Really, really interesting.
Well, it's like you mean for like so like an example would be like stairs where it would repeat, like you could stretch out the spline and
no,
it would repeat.
They have that already. So you have it as like DSP data.
Yeah.
So you can like change this, which is nice.
Right.
So I mean that's nice to have. They have, I don't even know where it is. I was watching, I don't even remember the name of the video now. It was on the Unreal subreddit. But it was basically like for a roadway.
Oh,
You just put your splines in,
yeah, and it gives you a road there.
get a road. Done. Also,
Yeah,
I was
It
looking.
looks super slick.
I was also looking at doing rivers.
The splines?
Well, just in Blender.
Oh.
Earlier this week, I was looking at rivers, and so I'm like, I wonder if you could like do that with roads in Unreal. Just change the textures or change the material out on it. On a river. Because earlier this week, there was someone on the Blender subreddit talking about how to do rivers, like moving water in rivers.
Yeah.
And so, like, I started. I'm like, how do you do that?
Hmm.
And so I started digging apart, and I got halfway there. It looked close enough. It's pretty simple. And
So you did then? So you took the like the road spline and you just replaced the material?
not in Unreal.
Oh, not
I was trying to
Unreal.
figure
Oh,
out how
okay.
to do it. I was just trying to figure out how to do it in
I mean, that's an interesting. We'll go to landscapes, make yourself a road, and see if we can replace the texture.
Is it in here where you can do a spline?
I think it's in landscape. In paint. I thought that's where the roads were. See, I don't know too much.
You can do paints like that. Back to the Unreal.
But I think you need a landscape setup first.
No, because he was doing it without a landscape. He was just
Dropping a road in it. Ta-da! Thank you, Internet.
Thank you for liking it. I wonder if this is the exact video I watched earlier this week. No.
Oh, and it's only 6 minutes long. Yay! Thank you, people, for short tutorials. I say as we are recording in our third hour now.
Oh, this internet is great.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi here is pretty bad. Public Wi-Fi.
So we've got the generic scene. It looks like a spline. Yeah, so it's like 2 points that you can just move
Okay. And then you can add more. Huh?
somehow.
Somehow. Magic. E for extrude, I would assume, right? Spline mesh actor. All right.
Let's try it out. Oh, the refresh rate's horrible. Can you change viewport options? Like, how do you do
You
that?
can change just about everything.
Well, no, how do I like dumb down the quality?
Oh.
How do I do that?
I think it's. Viewports. So you're in viewport.
Controls, grids, and
Look
everything.
and feel. Huh. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, you're melting my mouseware.
Oh, so-
No, it's really not that. I'm just kidding. It's really not that hot.
no, yeah.
It was just kind of funny. Like
This thing heats up. Well, when you got Unreal running,
let's see. Let's open something I haven't really done anything with. Okay. I really just want to hit E for extrude. I wonder if we can. Nope. All right. Good.
it's a nice darkness. Okay, so I got a spline mesh hacked on.
Spline mesh component. No. There must be a special key or button that you gotta push to get the next bit of the spline.
Oh, that's not gonna because Hangout is it's broadcasting the sound from there, and so we're gonna get echo.
Oh.
Oh, no, we're back to part 4. Oh, you need to build it first.
Huh?
That's where he is. So he's not in the level yet. He's building it somewhere else. He's building a component, and then he'll import the spline mesh after.
Oh, that's so he's creating a component and then it's attached to the spline.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
you might be
we
worried.
can't just slap it down, huh?
Maybe. Yeah, because it looks like you need to attach a. Oh wait.
There's not like one that comes.
I bet if.
Oh, no. Are you adding that to the spline? Are you going to make a pickaxe road? Would it just duplicate it, right?
needed Well, it just needed a mesh, so I think the mesh is part of it.
Okay.
But so its end is as weird as you can.
Whoa. So that just messes with the
Like
with
so,
the individual chunk.
yeah.
So how do you get it to repeat?
I think like your mesh is in because they have a start position, start
Yeah.
tangent, end position, end tangent. The real question is how you would edit it.
I know you could probably use these little boxes, but you should just be able to hit a whoa. Start scale, start roll, turn off.
Mm-hmm. Like you have a bunch of options of things you
You
can
got a whole site load of options. Collision, rendering, tags, factor, can be damaged. Oh, okay, so we gotta pick a static mesh, huh? How about
Google Chrome has decided to stop working again.
how about a pipe? Okay. So use the pipe. That is one ugly thing. Whoa.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, is it in the blueprint?
You need
we're
to
being
add a
stupid.
spline component to your blueprint and select the instance of that blueprint.
All right. No.
That is a really good use of it, though. I've seen.
With the spline?
So it's like a spline on the edge. So the mesh is actually just a single wall piece, and then the spline can just stretch it up.
Oh, I see. That's clever.
You can do stuff like that. Ooh.
I have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh, freaking clue. I got a blueprint, but I don't know anything about blueprints.
So you just need to add component, and then type in spline, or you want a spline.
Okay.
So that's a part of your blueprint. And now you should be able to just edit that now that it's connected, I think. Apparently. Try going back, save this, and then.
Oh, that's what I meant to
You should, yep, there you go.
do. Uh-huh.
You click, and then.
Why? Oh. Oh, it did something.
So it's the starting where what axis is pointed towards the
All right.
along the tangent of the spline.
Now.
So now what you should be able to do is if you click the spline inherited, I should be able to click one.
Oh, I can move that.
Does it do
That's
anything?
not what I wanted to do. No, it just moved. Need like an extrude button, right? Get your next.
It says just by selecting an instance of that blueprint, you should be able to do it. Oh, you have a mesh with the spline blueprint underneath.
Huh?
You're trying selecting that instead.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now try moving it.
Doesn't let me do anything with it here.
You like dragging, like just click to try to select.
This?
Instead of, yeah.
Right here?
No.
Oh.
I should probably be trying to do this before telling you what to do.
What's that?
I should probably be trying to do this before you tell me what to do.
Go ahead and do it. Start position. Start tangent. End position. Okay, that's like that. End tangent. Line of direction. Short axis. I don't know. No. Sorry. Huh. It's almost as if I have no idea what I'm doing. No, that's the floor.
I think I'm gonna take off a bit early so I can get to the next spot.
You're headed now.
Huh?
You had-
I've got a bachelor's party today. And I've got to do a couple errands before that.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. You gonna get a little raucous, or not gonna be that kind of bachelor party?
It's
Might
might be
be.
fun, but we're doing like cool stuff like Grand Slam and go-karts.
Still cool. Still fun.
Let's go, karts.
Uh-huh.
Still pretty great.
So it'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys could come because Tony said he wasn't coming. Brandon said he wasn't coming. Paul said he wasn't coming. I'm like, shit, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard from you. I was like, wait, maybe
Yeah.
Tyrone will come too.
Unfortunately, I'm not making the next couple.
No.
So I'm probably coming back in like November or something.
Okay. Busy, huh?
Yeah, I've got a I've made it into a musical.
Have you?
Going to go do
No
a
kidding, where?
Musical.
And what musical?
Philly the musical.
What's
It's
that?
like at a Sutton's Center. They're performing it.
Cool. What's
Really
your
fun
part?
couple months. Huh?
What's your part?
I'm a dancer.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those backup dancers.
And chords as well.
Yep.
Nice. That's cool.
It'll be a new experience for me.
Yeah. You haven't
Huh?
danced and sung on stage before?
Oh, I've danced a lot, but
Okay.
I haven't sung.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Man. That's why they put you in the chorus. No.
Yeah. No, I've got like 2 singing parts, and that's
Yeah.
enough for me.
That's cool. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You figured out?
No.
Give up in there? No, you're still working out. Good for you.
There's something.
Yeah, there's something we're missing here.
Well, I mean, oh, Chrome did it.
Have to compile it? No, there's nothing to compile it, really, is there?
No, it's like on the help page for it,
Yeah.
there was a large constructor script node that I
Oh,
have a bad feeling that you need to build,
yeah, I'm sure you do.
which would make sense.
Because, it's like a complicated thing that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You can't just push the create road button, huh? The make money button.
Apparently not. Press money, receive money. Press money. Press button, receive money.
When does the show go on?
It's in October,
Yeah?
so at least missing the October one.
Yeah.
The rehearsals, they've got us blocking out for schedule for every single one. We're not required for all of them.
Yeah.
So I have no idea
Okay.
when I'm showing,
All right.
how often I'll be.
Well, if we don't see you before then, let us know when the show is.
Yeah.
We'll come cheer you on.
I'll post it.
Yeah, do that.
You guys know.
Cool. Good luck.
Awesome. You guys
See ya.
have a good time.
Thanks. Have fun at your bachelor party.
Still don't know how this even works. It's a spline, and it does spline things.
And you should be able to grab and create another. I tried E, but the extrude didn't work.
It's
All I did was change
it's
it to
in the
rotate.
constructor script.
Yeah.
You need to build something out.
Place new.
There we go. That's all. I just deleted it.
Oh, well, nice. Now you don't have to deal with it at all.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The stairs just work. Oh, they do. I'm getting like 3 frames per second. Apparently my gun's not even showing. Maybe like 15 frames a second.
It's not too bad.
Stairways. The motion blur doesn't help. I wonder if it can work. Show post processing. Okay, I've turned off the motion blur and it's helping. Wait. What is...
All right. We got no viewers. I'm going to turn this off.
Okay.
No, I'm not throwing it. I'm just going to turn this off. Patrick Sharkey joined group chat. And then he did it again. And then you left it, and then you left it again.
Enjoy.
Joined it again. And then